I just got back from a week in Paris. I was there for my 30th birthday. My godmother does live there, so it's a trip that I have taken often in my life, but it's still very special and I'm very grateful to be able to do it. I did some shopping while I was there, so I want to show you guys what I got and also talk about the stores that I visited in general because before I went, I asked for recommendations from my followers on Instagram and I was sent so many places. I think I had over 70 stores mapped out on my Google Maps to visit. I didn't get to them all, obviously, but I did see a lot. And I have a lot of thoughts about what retail is like in Paris at this point in time. Before we move on, the sponsor for this video is Squarespace. Squarespace is a great tool to build your own personal website. Obviously, there's some bias because I'm so interested in Japanese clothing and fabric and styles, and my followers are too, so when I asked for recommendations, they sent me places where I could find those types of things. But really the amount of stores there are in Paris where you can get secondhand Japanese designer clothing or small boutiques where you go in and often the designer is there. So I spoke to a couple of designers who had their own showrooms in Paris who said they were like, we are inspired by Japanese silhouettes, by Japanese traditional clothing, and this is our interpretation of them. So I was able to do both and get some really special pieces. I took some notes on my phone. So the very first place we went to was L'Épicerie. I was there with my partner and he's obviously been interested in redoing his wardrobe. I have a video about that a couple months back, which you can watch. So this is a menswear store. Obviously I buy menswear as well, so I wasn't too worried about that, but I was kind of trying to, push him towards getting something as well. So we started off there. It was kind of high-end designer. The prices I thought were fair. So just in general, and I want to talk about like how I shop in a broader sense, there are going to be things that are expensive, but that doesn't mean that they're not fairly priced. And then there are things that I think are not well priced that are too expensive. And there's obviously a thin line between those. So the stuff here was not cheap, but I thought it was well priced. And my gauge for well priced is usually, how do I think about this? I do a lot of my secondhand designer shopping online, traditionally on eBay or Vestiaire or Grailed. So I have a general idea of what different designer brands cost across those platforms. Grailed is usually a little bit more expensive than something like eBay, obviously. So I naturally expect the prices to be more expensive in person because they've curated it for you. So you're essentially paying for that curation, right? But there's like a certain amount of a markup that I think personally is acceptable. And I thought their markup was reasonable. So I think I was looking at a pair of pants that I tried on while I was there. I think they were around 200 euros and they were Yohji Yamamoto. But I did like them, but I already have a pair of pants that were similar, so I didn't get them. Anyway, in general, I thought it was a good selection and fair pricing. And the guy was really chatty with me, which I thought was nice. First of all, everyone else in the store seemed like they weren't French, so he was talking to everyone in English except for me, and I think maybe because he was so excited that I was like speaking French to him, he was like really chatting me up and like being so supportive and really nice, and also like speaking in slang, which my slang is okay because I used to go to French summer camps and they always want to teach you slang, but it was definitely a little rusty and he was speaking very quickly, so I was like, oh my god, we're friends, but I'm not ready for this. I just landed in Paris. The second place we went was called the Archivist store. It was nearby, and I thought it was too expensive. I did think it was overpriced for what you got. The selection is obviously very nice. The store is really curated. It has that vibe. They're putting out a vibe there. For me, the vibe is not worth the money. Like, I don't need a vibe. I want a good price. But they did have a sales rack, and I really like when vintage stores or secondhand retailers have sales racks. New York City. Anyway, they did have a sales rack, so I was looking through their sales rack and I did pick up something. It was a good price. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was around 100 euros and it was something that I had on my wish list. So I did have a wish list going into Paris of all the things I was specifically looking for that I wanted for my wardrobe. And I will show you what pants I got. They are Wise for Men. I really wanted a nice pair of khakis. These, amazingly, I'm always begging for adjustable waists, and they have these little belts on the side. Let me throw them on for you so you can see what they look like. Oh, sorry, if you didn't know, Wise is a Yohji Yamamoto line. And really not a bad price. This is like what you could probably get on eBay on the cheaper end. So already we have two stores that had a pretty good selection of secondhand Japanese designer. And the next store we went to was very, very highly recommended. And I have to say, I think it lived up to the hype. It's the store called Thanx God I'm a VIP. It is two stores, a men's store and a women's store, and they're both like true vintage and priced extremely well. And they're big. There's a huge selection. They have classic French workwear, specifically in the men's side. Actually, my partner got a jacket. He's not here to try it on himself, but I'll just show it to you because I think it's really cute and he's really liked it and looked good in it. Actually, I have a picture of him in it. So I'll show you that and I'll also show you what it looks like here. So here's the jacket. It's not like a particular designer. The brand just says Bel Air wool jacket shirt by the Bell Shirt Company, Belleville, Ontario. So that's how you know it's probably warm since they need to keep warm up in Canada. It's this gorgeous plaid. Beautiful colors, and I think when you have a plaid like this, it really goes with everything. You know, you don't have to worry too much about matching. Here's what it looks like on me, even though it's not for me and it's not mine. One nice thing about having a partner that shares your sense of style is that you can share everything. So, I mean, I don't think I'm not planning on taking it, but you never know when the occasion might arise. The next place we went to was BRUT. They have a store with newer, or I couldn't actually quite tell if they were like refurbished vintage items or if it was just their brand, and then they had a vintage side with a lot of Americana workwear style clothing, so not as much Japanese designer. I did see one denim jacket that I liked, but it was too small for me. Actually, I think it was Japanese classically, but yeah, it didn't fit me, so we didn't get it. And then the last place we went on that day was Gaijin, which was also heavily, heavily recommended. And as you might be able to tell from the title, they specifically sell Japanese clothing secondhand. I really liked Gaijin. I thought their selection was really good. I thought their prices were pretty good. I don't know if it's just because I'm not adding up, like, you know, the euro is just a little bit stronger than the dollar. So I think I wasn't really adding up that extra like $20, $30, $40 or whatever it was. But I did pick up two things there, and my partner picked up a jacket, so I will show you all three items. This is like the most obvious mistake you can make, but I needed a pair of khakis, right? So I got this pair of khakis at that other store because they fit so well and the price was good. And then I went to this other store and found this pair of khakis, and I was like, no, this is the most perfect pair of khakis. This is what I wanted. This is what I needed. They are nice and thick. They are comme des garçons shirt, an extra small, though they're pretty big on me for an extra small in a Japanese size. So yes, the colors are a little bit different, but the biggest thing is that the silhouettes are totally different. These are pleated, which I did really want a pleated pair. They are a thicker material overall. They hang a little lower, as you can see, and they're a little bit more of a tapered leg at the very bottom. So almost a more balloon shape, right? They're wide in the middle and then they're tapered at the end. And this was like, I mean, these are really my platonic ideal. This is exactly what I wanted, and I got them. I'm extremely pleased. The second thing I got for myself is this shirt from 45R. So now I have a shirt from 45R, which is something I've been really wanting. It has no collar. I don't know if there's a specific name for that, but there's no collar, and it's very soft and loose, and it has a different fabric on the inside, as you can see. I sort of wish it was completely reversible. Then, you know, you could wear it both ways, but I also just like it peeking out in the cuff there. And I even thought that they looked pretty cute together. I would wear this and be very happy. This is what my partner got at Gaijin, and it was more expensive, certainly, than the shirt or my pants, but he wore it for the rest of the trip. So I know already that he loves it. I believe it's a woman's coat, which, you know, I wear men's clothes, he wears women's clothes. It's a match made in heaven. I actually haven't tried it on yet. It's sort of hard to see, actually. There's just one button here for this buttonhole. He wasn't really using it. He's actually thinking about taking the button off. And it's nice and wide. Very cute. The collar is sort of asymmetrical. As you see, this one goes lower than the other one. And the back has this little shelf. I don't know what you would call it, almost a cutout, which he was unsure about, but I was like, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's cute. And yeah, it's very lightweight, which is good for him actually, because he overheats, you know, more than me. I'm more of a cold person. He's more of a warm person. And it's really nice, and I'm so glad he got it. Technically, I got it for him, actually. It was my present to him because he got me a present. Oh, I haven't talked about one of my birthday presents. I forgot to mention that a bunch of stuff that I got as part of this haul, they're gifted items, not just from like brands. I mean, though actually 2 items are from a brand, but from like my friends and family because it was my birthday, obviously. So I got some gifts, and a lot of things were clothes, which I'm actually surprised by because I think I personally, because I'm so particular, I feel bad about buying other people clothes because I'm like, what if they don't like it? It's like a waste. I don't want them to like throw it away or anything. But I like that my godmother and a family friend of mine were like, no, we know you like clothes, so we're going to give you clothes. And everything they got me, I love. So I will show you that stuff at the end. But one thing that I got as a gift, I went in the store and chose myself, and then my partner bought it for me. So let's talk about that. There is one brand that I was not specifically recommended, but I found on social media a couple months ago. I've been following them ever since, and then I saw that they had a showroom in Paris, so I really wanted to check it out. I put it on my list, and it's called LR3. We went in, the showroom was gorgeous, and the designer was there, Louis Ruby. So him and I and my partner and the salesperson, we just had like a fabulous time together, and I tried on some different pants, specifically because I think their pants are so special. They're known for having this orange stripe on everything. This is the pair of pants that I got. My partner bought them for me. So I was between this pair and this other pair. The other pair were more of a hakama style and they were shorter, but I thought this was going to be more wearable. Now, these cost a pretty penny. That's why they were my birthday gift. I think they were around 700 to 800 euros. And they are just so beautiful and elegant. And the way they move and the way they fit, I mean, I feel very comfortable. I'm probably going to get them hemmed. They offered to do it for me in the store, but we didn't have enough time between when I was there and when I was leaving. So I decided to do it at home. I also couldn't quite decide which pair of shoes I would probably be wearing the pants with. And obviously that's very important when you get pants hemmed to sort of have an idea of what size of heel you're going to be wearing the pants with. So they're not hemmed yet, but they will be. Okay, now quick rapid fire. A couple stores we visited but didn't buy anything. We looked into Husbands, which was recommended to me. The stuff is very expensive, sort of traditional style clothing. And my partner, I think, was just like not impressed enough by anything in there, and it was too expensive for me. It's a brand, and I think there were a couple stores we went into that I had this thought about. The other one was, let me see if I can find it. I think Beige Habilleur, or maybe it was Bonne Guele. Anyway, I think I wrote something really mean. I wrote, if you need to buy taste, dot, dot, dot. So here's my feeling about stores like this. The clothing, I'm sure, is high quality. The styles, like the designs of them, I think are just like fairly uninteresting. And I think if I'm going to buy something classic, then I'd rather just buy it secondhand. I'd rather buy it used because it's not like it's anything new, so it probably has existed before and I can just get it cheaper if I buy it vintage. So that's sort of how I feel about places like this where, you know, a nice button-down shirt is 300 euros. I'm like, well, I can just get a vintage button-down shirt that's also really nice quality. Why do I need to buy a new one for so much money? I think my idea of who their audience is, who their customer is, are people who have a lot of money, right? People who don't bat an eye at paying that kind of price, and they want to look good, so they can essentially spend money to look good. Like, I think you can buy your whole wardrobe from a place like Husbands or Bonne Guele, and then, you know, you're like, all your stuff is going to look pretty nice, and you're going to look fairly fancy. But that's for people who have really a lot of money, which me and my partner do not. We have a good amount of money, but not, you know, drop 300 euros on a shirt money. And I think the difference to me personally, or for why I think something like these pants are worth it, but the stuff you could get at Husbands is not necessarily for me personally, is because you can't really buy these pants secondhand. Like, he designed them, they're really pretty original, they're hard to find. I mean, you can buy hakamas, I guess, but the hakamas don't look exactly like this. And it's a more unique offering. And to me, essentially, this is a designer purchase, and a designer purchase for 700 euros is not bad, especially like when I went in and I like met him and I had a really special experience. I don't know, there is something to that, I think. And so that's why I was more than happy to spend money at a place like Louis Ruby versus a place like Husbands. Along that train of thought, actually, right around the corner from Husbands, Rive Gauche, we saw this tiny boutique called Juliette Ozouf, and the designer was also there, so we talked with him. What really drew me in, it was just their fabrics. Like, you know when you see a fabric and something about it is very tactile, you can tell they're like really into natural fabrics. That's what made me walk in the store. It had a little bit of the Login look, if you've heard of Login look before. It's very like sort of loose, bulbous clothing, like very hippie, and definitely European vibes. I didn't try anything on. Something that, it wasn't confusing, but when we were looking at the pieces and talking about them, which I thought they were all priced pretty well, and again, they have a point of view, like there's something different to them that's hard to find. He was like, oh, I don't know if this will fit you. And at first I thought he meant that I was like too big, which I was like, okay, maybe you should work on your sizing. I mean, you know, obviously it's a general problem that most of these stores don't cater to plus sizes, but I was like, you don't even cater to like a standard size that's like a little bit on the bigger size. That seems like an issue. Anyway, but then he was like, oh, because you're so tall. And I was like, am I that tall? I'm 5'7". That seems like also a sizing issue if you're making clothes for women and it doesn't fit women who are 5'7". I don't know. Anyway, so that turned me off a little bit, but we did actually want to go back with the intention of trying things on, and we never made it. I think my partner actually really wanted to get something. A couple days later, we went to Canal Saint-Martin. I was there to meet a designer, Camelia, who reached out to me specifically. She has a brand. It's called Chez Nous, which means like at ours. Like, I feel like I'm not translating that well. Anyway, she wanted to give me some items to try out, so I have those. Actually, the white shirt that I was wearing in the beginning is from her, and then she gave me a pair of pants and a little hat, so I'll throw those on for you. This is the hat she gave me. It just says Chez Nous in Arabic, and it is cute. I don't really have like a denim hat. And oh, these are the pants. So they have a little double button and they're pleated and they're very comfortable. The denim is not structured, it's very loose. And classically, as soon as I got them, I wore them for like 2 days after all over Paris. So I got some work done in these. They hang a little loose. I was like, do you think they're too big at the waist? And she was like, well, kind of depends on how you like them to fit you, but a lot of people wear them like that. I was like, okay, totally fine. This is a medium, I believe. So that's how they fit on me. And yeah, they're super comfortable. And because there's so much room in them, I think they'll actually be great for winter because I can put my little Uniqlo Heat Tech leggings under here, and I think I will be very cozy. She's French Tunisian, and they make all these clothes in Tunisia. So it's supposed to be a very special mix of her two cultures. Now I want to talk to you about Squarespace. My first and only website is on Squarespace. It's sort of meant to be a meeting point. If you know me from social media, if you know me from my production work, everybody can go there, learn more about what I do, see other offerings, like I offer styling services, and then know how to get in contact with me. More and more people have been asking me for my styling help, so I added it as a service product on my website, and I have been using Squarespace's payment tools to get paid directly when people book a session. On their end, on the customer side, they have the option to pay any way they're used to, like credit card, Apple Pay, or Klarna. Recently, Squarespace has been doing an amazing job integrating all sorts of AI tools into their website building process. So they have this design intelligence suite, which uses something called Blueprint AI. That takes you through an AI questionnaire. It practically builds your website for you. If any of that interests you, please go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, make sure to go to www.squarespace.com/Persia to save 10% or more on your first website or domain. Okay, time for more Japanese clothing I bought in Paris. Actually, no. First, we are going to talk about Alatone. It is the best thrift store in Paris. It's so weird to me when you're looking at something on Google Maps and it has 5 stars, because I'm like, how can you have no haters? So we went to this place, I think we walked by it, and I was like, oh, I think I have this place on my map. So we went in, it was pretty busy. I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday. and it was cheap. I guess it's a thrift store, though it seemed like pretty curated, and the way it was organized was just like, here's a rack of leather jackets. I don't remember the exact price, but let's say they were all like 40 euro. Here's a rack of trench coats. They're all like 35 euro. And it's just very nicely laid out that way. And I got one little thing. I got this goofy tie. I've been, as you guys know, into ties recently, and I wanted a polka dot one. I just grabbed this before we walked out. I think it might go nice with a gray suit. I was asking my partner, I was like, do you think brown goes with gray suits? He was like, yeah, sure. So I grabbed this very 70s little tie, and then my partner got a coat there. It's actually way too big on me. I tried it on before, so this might not be something we are sharing. This might just be a thing for him. Anyway, I think he probably paid like 30 or 40 euros for it. So if you need something on the lower end of the pricing scale, this place, it really is very accessible. There was one place in Canal Saint-Martin that I wanted to talk about that we didn't buy anything from, but it supports my thesis here about how much Japanese or Japanese-inspired clothing there is in Paris. It was this place called Eat Dust. It was a little too expensive for me in the moment, I think, but overall I thought a great store. And they were showing me the designs, and I was like, this is just so obviously like Japanese inspired. And then the guy was kind of like hinting at it, and I was like, oh, do you know the brand Taiga Takahashi? And he sort of laughed and smiled, and he was like, yes, like that is one of our inspirations. So clocked their shit. They are a Belgian brand. It says in their About Me, crafted in Portugal with fabric selected from Europe and Japan. And they have a sort of like women's wear line, which is Girls of Dust, and then Eat Dust, which I think is their original line. Getting into the last couple of days of shopping here, and then, oh yes, I'm going to show you what I got that are just gifts, because it's always so interesting to see what people think that you would like, you know, people's outside perception of your own style. So I got this jacket at a weird store in Montmartre, and I wasn't familiar with the brand. I was really looking for a stiff, structured, dark denim jacket. The vibe at the store was just a little weird. I don't think I had it on my list. We just walked by and I was like, what is going on in here? There are a bunch of guys in there chit-chatting, and I was just like, why does it feel like everyone here is up to no good? You know, a lot of the stuff was just like singular items, stuff in piles. You know what it felt like? It felt like everything had sort of fallen off the back of the bus. And I looked up the reviews. The reviews were also super rude. People were like, oh, the salespeople were so rude. And my interaction with the sales guy was fine. I kind of picked this up and I was like, do you have this in a small? And he was like, who is this for? And I was like, it's for me. And he was like, this is a men's jacket. And I was like, I know, thank you. Do you have it in a small? And he's like, okay, let me check. But he was like, it doesn't matter how small you go, it's a men's jacket. Like, it's not for you. I was like, please let me decide what's for me. Anyway, so he went back, he was like, no, I don't have it. But at that point, I was already trying it on. So I had the jacket on, and he's like, oh, it suits you. And I'm like, yeah, I think I was actually wearing these jeans that day too. He's like, oh, it suits you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I was like, I know what suits me. I know what's going to work on me. I think a small might have been, I don't know how the small would have looked. But then he was really trying to sell me on it. He was like, oh, you know what this costs at APC? It costs like 300 euros. This was 145 euros, 50% off. So it was 50% off 145. So I think it was ultimately like 72 euros, which I agree, for a denim jacket is not a bad price at all. And it feels really good quality. I wasn't familiar with the brand. I looked it up, and it certainly is more expensive than I got it for. Mythic Legends Daytona 73. And of course, not that I knew it was going to be like this, but it is made out of like some sort of Japanese denim, like a selvage. So then of course he was pleased as pie for me to buy it. I don't know why I'm getting up there. I don't need to get up there. They're not pants. I've been, I was going to say I've been awake too long, but I haven't. I slept normally last night. I'm just like generally a little jet lagged. So that's the jacket. Denim jacket was on my list, and I'm happy with it. But did we stop there? No. Then we were walking around with my godmother on the last day, and she was like, more shopping. Let's go shopping. I was like, Did I really come to Paris just to shop? Maybe. I mean, we did other things, but the amount of stores we hit up, we really, we saw a lot. Anyway, so we're walking around, where were we? I think in Le Marais, which is the old Jewish neighborhood, which is now like Soho. It's so packed with people and stores these days. We were a little north of like the main area. And we just walked by this random store, and I think we both did kind of like a double take, just looking at what was in the window. I was like, oh, that stuff looks nice. So then we strolled in. The name of the store, Bleu de Cocagne? Bleu de Cocagne. That sounds right. And again, like, obviously Japanese inspired. The styles are very unisex. And my partner got this little jacket. I was like, no, I'm fine. His stuff is expensive, but it's well priced. This stuff is like, it's a small boutique, and it's really beautifully well-made stuff. So this is a little jacket that my partner got. It feels like a linen. It's so funny, I don't see oh, here's the tag. It's a large, yes, it's 100% linen. Yeah, it's obviously big on me. But looks very good on him. So I think I'll probably let him have this one. And then I was like, oh, I'm good. Like, you buy that, looks great on you. Like, I don't need anything. My godmother was like so upset that I wasn't buying anything. She went out and called my parents. She was like, we're at a store that's perfect for your daughter. It's totally her size, and she won't buy anything. And then she came back and she was like, your parents will buy it for you. And for my birthday, they hadn't already gotten me a present, but what they did essentially is they paid for like a dinner that we had earlier in the week, where it was me and my partner and my godmother and a family friend, his daughter, and another friend of ours. So they paid for this like big dinner where we all went out and got to spend time together, which was one of the best parts of the trip, just to be with everyone together. So I was like, that's enough of a present. But they were like, no, we want you to get something for yourself. So this is what I bought. Also, my godmother did the thing that I never ever do, which is she told the guy I was an influencer, and she was like, she'll talk about your store online. She has like 100K on Instagram. She was really chatting me up. And she was like, so give us a discount. And he did. And you know what? I never ever do that because I'm too scared to. But, the boomers, they ask for discounts. They ask for discounts and they get them. So this is what I got, this beautiful denim set. And with the discount, I believe it was about 600 euros. Both together, they were 600 euros. Anyway, it's brilliant. There's obviously a lot of beautiful little details here. If you can see the cuff, it's embroidered. I don't really know what I would call it. But the way he did it essentially is so that if you cuff it, it like really stays. So the whole cuff has little sewed lines on it. And then the cuff is really, it's stiff because of that, which is nice. This is what I'm talking about when I say you should spend your money. If you're buying things firsthand, you should spend your money on things that have a point of view, things that have a real, designed element. If you're just going to buy classics, you can get those secondhand because they're around, believe me. Okay, last thing I purchased for myself is just this pair of black cotton pants from a store that was recommended to me called Ikian. They, again, sell Japanese clothing, like real Japanese clothing. Like they have those workwear pants that like really balloon out and then are tight on the ankle and the calf. Did they have tabbies? I can't quite remember, but they had kimonos, they had hakamas, is it hakama? They had hakamas. And all sorts of stuff. It was getting late in the day, so we didn't spend that much time there. I just saw this pair of pants and I was like, I have been looking for just a pair of lightweight black cotton pants, and these fit the bill perfectly. The weird thing about them is I bought them in an extra small, which is really usually not my size, but that's what looked best on me. Unfortunately, these pants, I've sort of lost the season for them. Like, it's going to be too cold to wear these for a while, so I'll have to wait on them. But I'm excited to wear them when it gets warmer. Now we're on to presents. My friend Aisatu gave me this sweater. She said it was vintage, so obviously she knows that I like things that are secondhand. It's a little itchy, but I think it's a very classic, like Irish sweater. And when I wore it, it was so warm I didn't need to wear a coat with it. So that is amazing. It is very cute and slouchy. And I think if I'm really needing that extra warmth, this will be perfect. She also brought me this scarf, which I actually wore a lot on my trip. It's this beautiful blue color. Like I've never really seen a fabric like this, and she was telling me, God, she was telling me what it was, and now I don't remember. Does it have a tag? It's like a specific kind of fabric. I don't know if it's North African. And what a gorgeous color. I can't get over it. Finally, the woman, the myth, the legend, my godmother got me this shirt. The brand is Mapoesie, which I think is the name of the store as well. She was like, oh, if you don't like it, you can return it. And I was like, no, like you picked this out for me. First of all, it's so cool. I love the boxy shape. It's so nice and structured. It's almost like a jacket, but it's like the thickness of a shirt. And like if I had walked in that store, would I have walked out with this? I actually don't think so, but I like that even more because it sort of, it forces you out of your comfort zone a little bit. And I have been wearing it. I was wearing it on my trip. I will wear it now that I'm home. And I'm very, very thankful she thought of me when she got it. Oh, and the other place I forgot to mention that we did visit was Jinji, which is very similar to Blue and Green here in New York City. Similarly, pretty expensive, and I think they even had some of the same exact products. When I walked in, I was having trouble with my French in there for whatever reason. I was like trying to ask, oh, I think when I walked in, I thought it might be a secondhand store, but then I was like, no, they have like their house brand, and then they were carrying other brands. And I was trying to ask that, but I forgot the word for brand in French. So I was like stumbling over my words, and the woman was like, okay, like in French, she was like, you know what, let's restart, like let's begin again. And I was like, okay. I was like so sad and having so much trouble, and she just explained it to me in French, and she was like, it's a multi-brand store. Jinji is our brand, and then we have other brands. And I was like, okay, thank you. Yeah, but the thing about my French is my comprehension is so much better than my speaking. But I was sort of like, I don't know, I was embarrassed by that interaction. So then we left, and I was like, I don't know, sometimes that colors your experience of places. I don't think she was being rude necessarily. I think I was just like having trouble in the moment. Oh, and then one store we walked into randomly was called Topologie, and it really reminded me of some bags that I saw in Popeye that I was talking about in my last Dress Like You Live in Tokyo video. And so if you're looking for those little like tech bags that I was talking about with a little colorful sling, that's a brand I would recommend for that because they had so many different options, so many cute colorways and fabrics and everything. And I mean, I liked the store also, but I think most of you will probably just, buy it online if you need to. I also dropped into Soeur, which is a French brand that I think has really cute stuff. I got a pair of pants and a sweater last time I was in Paris from their store. This time when I went, I was, looking for very specific things, and so I couldn't find anything that like met that criteria. Like I didn't find any like black cotton pants that I thought were perfect, or I didn't find like a gray sweater that I really liked. So I wasn't just like open-mindedly going in. I think their pricing is really good. I did think there were a couple things I tried on that I was like, this feels like they're sort of directly stealing from La Mer. Stealing, I guess, is a strong word. It seems like they're inspired by La Mer's designs. And so, if you're interested in getting some La Mer for a cheaper price point, check out Soeur. I feel like I'm starting drama. So that's going to be the end of the video. I will link all the stores I talked about in the description below. Please let me know what you think, especially since I bought twos of some of the things on my list. Like I got ultimately 2 denim jackets and 2 pairs of khaki pants. That might have been a mistake. Like maybe one will win out and then I'll want to get rid of the other one, which is really a shame. Or I'll love both of them equally forever and they can be for different occasions.